Ontario College of Teachers. Great teaching.
When I was a kid, I knew that we were different. You know, I wasn't the typical Canadian family with cousins at Christmas time. And so I would always hear this story, why are we in Canada? Because we had to escape. As a kid, you don't understand what a communist is. You don't know really the political atmosphere that led to this. And we'd always hear about this man, Hubert Ripka. I never really connected who that was. I was able in third year to do a paper on wartime experience of Czechoslovakia. I started to research and I found this man who was very prevalent. I brought it home to my grandmother. She wanted to read it. She opened the page and she said, "I'm so proud of you. You're doing the history of the man that we hid in our mill, about 45 kilometers south of Pilsen, Czech Republic." I was shocked. I said, "That's the guy that I heard about all my life? That's impossible. What are the odds of that happening?" Because you didn't know? That is when I realized that every one of us has a unique story, and it is up to us to really get those stories out, because if I never ever pursued this, I would never have known.
He loves his job, and that he loves the kids, primarily, first and foremost, and that informs everything that he does. He's co-created this wall with students where he gets kids to look into their own family's history and pull out those stories in a meaningful way. And the stories that line that wall are extraordinary. It's kind of this snowball effect. There's all kinds of different examples of students who were not engaged with history, did this project, and then suddenly discovered some kind of family connection that they never knew about. This project has literally brought families together.
One that stands out is a girl, she's now graduated a few years ago, who said, when I pushed her to talk to Grandpa in New Brunswick, she said, I'm afraid of him. He's a little bit grumpy and I just don't want to talk to him. I said, call Grandpa. He'd love to talk to you. And she did. They had a 2-hour conversation, and she found out he drove generals around during the Second World War and had an amazing career. She had no idea. So she did a whole exhibit and made a plaque of his life, one of which hangs on our Wall of Heroes today. The other, she sent him. His wife, what they got in the mail, noticed a profound change in him. He walked around the house carrying this plaque that his granddaughter had made, and he was so proud, and he was smiling. And shortly after, he passed away. They put that plaque on his coffin and they read it at the funeral. And I said to this girl, I said, no matter what you do in school, there is no greater project that you could do than that, because you honored your grandfather and his story was not forgotten.
There's staff members, myself was inspired to look into my own family and discovered all kinds of things that I didn't know. So it's this wonderful project that creates roots in the community. It's a wonderful thing that just keeps building momentum. So now we've got kids coming to the school that have heard about this project that can't wait for grade 11 so that they can do this project.
I love the museum, especially teaching the kids. They're actually so engaging, and I feel like I can personally connect with them and talk to them as if I were talking to myself. That's kind of how I like to teach them. Explain it to them how I would like to be explained. And I feel like they really appreciate it, because they usually get lots of big crowds in the museum, and I've just enjoyed every bit of it. I look forward to coming to class.
I just love working with young people. It's that spark. If you can get a young person to get excited about history, to get excited about their own past, to get excited about their family, to me, that's the greatest reward.
Learn more at oct.ca.